Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, the world of Wayne. It's Sunday morning, which means we've now got time for two more Welcome to the Cave. Now once again I've had to move things around, so today we've got Chris Purdy's cave, which I should have put on yesterday, and we're going to have Jason from DHD Galactic, and I'm going to put a link to Jason's channel at the end of this video and during his video as well, so you can go and visit his site because his YouTube site is absolutely amazing. Josh Warner, I've moved yours to next Saturday now, but you'll see that on the end card because I want to have a day devoted just to your cave. So the first cave we're going to be up is Chris Purdy. Now Chris has, I've done a voiceover for his video. He first submitted his videos into portrait mode, then he's refilmed it into landscape mode. So what I've done is I put a backing track on it and I've just talked about his cave as it goes on. So I think without further ado, let's show your cave.
Hi all, and welcome to my cave.
Now Chris, I was debating whether to do a voiceover for your cave because it speaks for itself, a lot of it. I really am a big fan of your canvases all throughout your cave, right from Marvel to Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people asking me where you get some of those from, and I know you provided some pictures with these, but your actual video footage since you made it landscape, because I know you first submitted them in portrait, pretty much show that. I am going to put some of your pictures on the end just with the things lit up, some of your shelves lit up as well. But I know you're a big fan of Mr. Bean. I've seen two of your items of Mr. Bean in there, and your videos primarily down to the Panini, I believe it's the Panini Universal, Marvel Universal figurines, and the Eagle Moss Marvel Movie Collection figurines, which I'm interested in a lot because I think I only got up to issue 58 of the Marvel Movie Collection figurines, and then I stopped, mainly because it was becoming more samey and more abstract characters. But since then we had things like Captain Marvel come out, the Hulk in the Ragnarok armor, and some of the Endgame figurines there. But I think what I'm going to do is leave your camera work to show exactly what you got off, and have our viewers listen to this music in the background, which is called Windswept, by the way, and it's available on the YouTube creator platform. Absolutely excellent, and I think you have sort of whet my appetite to probably start that Marvel movie collection figurines up, but only picking the ones that I actually want. I definitely want the Captain Marvel, and I definitely want the Hulk in the Thor Ragnarok armor. I think that's really good. Anyway, the next cave, Jason. Now, Jason, I've been watching Jason's YouTube channel for a while. Jason was the one who got me onto doing the blast bags for the Bismarck. But if you look at some of the items in his cave, where he's actually made his own mods for it, especially the DeLorean that I put in the thumbnail. You'll see what I mean. He's very skilled, and you've got a cave to die for, Jason. So what I'll do is, I said, I'm going to put your link on the video so people can check out your YouTube site, and I hope you can bask in the glory of your man cave like I have, and have as much pleasure as I saw some of your things, which I didn't even realise they were available. And if I had the money, I'll tell you what, I'll be filling this man cave up here with some of your items. But thank you for submitting, Jason. This is your cave.
Hi, I'm Jason, and this is my cave. Well, not so much a cave as a collection, as I don't have a dedicated build space, but I do have bits scattered around the house. So to start, this is the Eagle Moss DeLorean, completely rebuilt electronics. All the originals were removed and replaced with an Arduino system, so it's all remote controlled with lights and sounds. Lots of scratch built details added as well, little remote control as seen in the movie, used by Doc. The flux capacitor was a keyring from a company called Mad Geeks, which was modified and fitted to the build. Lots of other little details added here and there. EL wire for the flux bands. And lots of little bits and pieces behind, just to add to the collection. To see more detail on this build and the others I'm going to show you on this tour, you're more than welcome to come and check out my YouTube channel called DHD Galactic Models. Couple of extra bits under the bonnet there. The floor is removable, and underneath is where all the Arduino electronics are housed. It was a tight squeeze, but just about got them in there. Anyway, moving on. This is a levitating DeLorean. It's from a company called Kids Logic. They're very hard to find these days. It really is an amazing little piece. Using magnetic levitation and induction for the lighting. Cool little piece. Considering the size, it's nicely detailed. Obviously not to the level of the Eagle Moss DeLorean, but for a pre-built little collectible, it's pretty good. And moving on, we have a couple of Battlestar Galactica pieces. The Viper was actually the first model I built after getting back into model making after a 30-year break, which was spurred on by building DeLorean, got me back into building models. Then you got the Cylon Raider, which was my first foray into Arduino, so I added the lights and the scanner. A few more DeLorean bits and pieces, a couple of Funko Pops. That's one of the Welly DeLoreans, signed photo, not genuine signatures I know, but makes a nice little display. This is a scratch-built drone I built from the movie Oblivion. Not an easy thing to make, being round, but it turned out okay in the end. Then there's a few Star Trek bits and pieces. You've got the Cylon behind with a Locutus of Borg Picard in front. A few of the Eagle Moss Star Trek starships. And a couple more down there. The Enterprise here has lights. That was just a little collectible. That's not one of the Eagle Moss ones. But it's pretty cool for what it is. Then moving up, this is one of my model builds next to the UFO abducting the cow. This is the Apollo 11 first moon landing, an old monogram kit, about 35 years old, that I picked up and modified and assembled. Above that, there's a few more Apollo collectibles, a few coins, and up in the corner here, an actual piece of the Kapton foil that was removed from the Apollo 11 before launch. Couple more bits and pieces. Mars probe coin. The astronaut at the back was from the D'Agostini Apollo build that never went ahead. Moving over, this is my Stargate theme build. The figures are Airfix figures, repainted to look like an SG team. The Stargate itself started life as a 3D printed coffee coaster, which I added the event horizon to and all the other details. Moving up, there's an Anubis statue, the X-304 ship from Stargate, and a piece of the original Iris from the early shows. It was later replaced with CGI, so it's quite a nice little piece to have. Now we'll quickly turn the lights out just to show the lighting. First, the event horizon on the Stargate. It's just a glossy photo backlit with white LEDs, but it's very effective. Then back down to the Cylon radar. Now you can see the lighting more in effect. I know the scanner isn't canon, but I thought I'd add it as it represents the original series quite well, as that's what the Cylons had on their helmets. Then back across the Kids Logic DeLorean, still rotating and still levitating. And then finally, back now to the DeLorean. You now see the added flame trails and wheel arch lighting that I added, as well as a few other bits and pieces. Anyway, that wraps it up for this area. Now we move upstairs. This is a cabinet I built that just cuts back into the loft space. It wasn't an area that could be used before, but now it is. This is the Hachette Bismarck, which I decided to stop building at this point and concentrate on other builds, but it was complete enough to make a nice little display. Got it coming through an old newspaper there, just to add a little bit of interest to it. A few other collectible pieces next to that, a couple of coins, a miniature Bismarck. And next to that we have the space battleship Yamato. Not something that's known very well in the West. It's a Japanese anime from the 70s, but it's a really cool design of a World War II battleship redesigned as a spaceship. This was released by Bandai back in about 2007. It's been completely decked out with Arduino control, with colour change lighting. The turrets are all motorised, the side cannons are motorised. This is the wave gun at the front, which has a full firing sequence, along with sound effects. It's all been painted and weathered. Then moving on from that, we have the start of my Thunderbirds collection. Only small, but it's growing slowly. We have all the Matchbox Tracy brothers to the side there. The big nose section for Thunderbird 2 at the back is actually the first 4 issues of the D'Agostini Thunderbirds release. I only had the first 4 issues and decided just to build those as a little display piece, but it sits nicely at the back. That's a gold special that I built recently. Again, it's quite hard to get to find. Few first day covers at the back there. That one's particularly good because it's got lenticular stamps, do the countdown and a little launch sequence. All the vehicles in front, pod vehicles, the Fire Flash and various others are by Konami. They were released about 15 years ago in Japan. Again, quite hard to find over here. Behind that we have a couple of kits waiting to be built. The one on top is a crystal clear Thunderbird 2. You can see all the internal workings inside, so that will be an interesting little build. And below that we have the Mole, which is another nice piece. This here is my latest work, which is the D'Agostini Japan release of Thunderbirds Tracy Island. This is my progress so far. There's Thunderbird 2 in its hangar. Now you move to the top of the stairs. It's my Egyptian following head. Follows you everywhere you go. You can't get away from him. And he's standing guard over the Terminators. The head to the left was a cookie jar I picked up years ago, just added the LED lights just to bring it to life. The forearm and the small head to the right are the Hachette T800, which I only built up to the issues that you see there, just to make a small display piece. You've got the plasma rifle sitting at the back there. Again, I didn't continue with the build as I wanted to move on to other things. But there's still enough parts there to make a nice little collection. And there's T800 staring away. Below that is another build that I made. This is my Terminator 2 themed diorama. It's made using various kits. The T800 endoskeletons are from a Pegasus Hobbies kit. The resistance soldiers are from a Zavida military kit. Just resculpted those. Added tiny little fibre optics to the T800's eyes, just to bring those to life. Not an easy thing to do with tiny 0.1mm drill and fibre optics, but I got there in the end. There we are. That one's been taken down by the resistance and is still trying to get to them, as the T800s do. One's at the back also lit. And then above that we have the aerial hunter killer circling overhead. Again, that's a kit by Pegasus Hobbies, which I added all the lighting to. It's all run off a little 9-volt battery hidden in the base. Burning building at the back, using a couple of flickering LEDs. And then below there, we move on to my 1953 War of the Worlds diorama. This is based as best I can on the look of the movie, again from 1953. The war machines themselves are another Pegasus Hobbies kit, but I added all the lighting to the heat rays. The military vehicles are various kits. Scratch built the rocket launcher and added all the lighting effects to that one, as well as the Sherman tank behind. A couple of little buildings in the background with the lights on. The heat rays are lit from underneath because just too small to fit any LEDs at the top, but they're still quite effective. Lots of little details going on in this one. There you've got a Sherman tank escaping into the nearby river to try and escape the heat ray, along with some of the soldiers running for their lives. Altogether, I think it took somewhere around 4 or 5 months to build this, just a little bit at a time. And then moving on below that is a Fujima kit of the Lotus Esprit from the James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me, otherwise known as Wet Nelly. I just made a little diorama base for it, complete with the missile launching. And now we move on to the last area, and that has got some of my latest builds. Starting off with one of my earlier ones, which is the Nautilus Submarine, again by Pegasus Hobbies, sitting in front of a couple of Star Trek bits and pieces. This is based on Captain Nemo's Nautilus Submarine. Again, I added all the lighting to it and the diorama base, and the inside is complete with a globe, a settee, and at the back there you can just see one of the crewmen working in the engine room. Moving across, an Enterprise plaque and a cup. Then over to here we have my War of the Worlds based on the 2005 movie starring Tom Cruise. This was one of my early builds. It's the first time I attempted any sort of diorama. I was quite pleased with the way it came out. There's no lighting on this one. Like I say, it was my first attempt at a diorama, and I was quite pleased. Ruined buildings there. Again, that's an Airfix kit. Various scenic materials used here and there. And then moving down to 2 of my latest builds. Got the Mercury 9 rocket there waiting to be built. To the left we have the Space Ark, again from the 1950s sci-fi movie, When Worlds Collide. I added all the lighting just to give it more life. And the engine effect again is LEDs with the battery built into the base. Then moving over to my latest build, which I've just finished, and that is the lunar rocket, again from Pegasus Hobbies. This time I've added just a little bit extra to the base, a couple of aliens checking out this strange craft that's appeared on their world. And that just about wraps it up. Just got a couple of kits below this that are waiting to be built, from Battlestar Galactica original series, the Pegasus and the Galactica itself. Hope you've enjoyed that tour. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
And that's it for another weekend of Welcome to the Cave. Now, next week, as I said, on Saturday, a day for yourself, we're going to have Josh Warner. Josh has got a YouTube channel as well, so I will show you that when that comes round. And then on Sunday, we're going to have Eric Lorkey, and we're going to be having Lee Hawk's cave. I do have another cave submitted there, which I just still need to download from John Fairbrother, and I am still looking for caves to come out. So if you want to submit your cave, all I can suggest is get your phone, film it in landscape, and just go around showing everything you got. Do a voiceover if you want. If you don't, I'll do one for you. It's not much of a problem there. And all you need to do, no matter how big the file size is go to wetransfer.com, upload the file to there, and it will say where do you want to email it to, and all you have to do is put in my email address there, wayne@worldofwayne.co.uk. and what I'll do is I'll get the video, I'll do all the editing for you, and I'll put this on the site. If you have got a YouTube site, then obviously tag that in the message that you send me as well, and that way I can link the YouTube site to this as well. And then some of the peeps that are watching these and want to ask you all questions can go over and do that. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.